today I decided to get out my Addi Express machine and make some hats. And I thought I should maybe make a video of me doing that because a lot of people are curious about these and they do make a great hat. If you ever need to make a very simple beanie that's double thick, these are great for guys too who want a very simple hat but warm. The double layer makes it really warm, and you can make these in less than a half hour. Not even kidding. They're really, really fast and they come out so perfectly. And this just works with worsted weight yarn, and I usually use Woolies from Lion Brand. But any worsted in your stash would work. You just have to try it and see, because some yarns kind of stick. You can get something very smooth with kind of a tight twist, but kind of experiment and see what works for you. I've even used Lopi on this. I've used Clinton Hill Cashmere on this, which was a little risky, but it was beautiful. It worked just great. So you can really do a lot with these machines. And I know you can make more than hats. I just make a lot of hats, and these are great for charity knitting, which I'm gonna probably make charity hats with the rest of this, or I'll make one for Low, or I'll see if anybody else wants one as a gift. So gift knitting, charity knitting, this machine. It's just really fun too. I've made scarves on this. I made a Noro striped scarf, like the Jared Flood type, where I switched every 2 rows, which was kind of a pain, but it turned out really cool. I made a Lopi scarf in different color blocks on this. So really, you can do a lot more than just hats, but I love the basic hat. So I'll show you how I do it. Today I'm going to be making a hat using my Addi Express machine and some Woolies Lion Brand worsted. Bowie wants a new hat, and I love this gray. And then with whatever I have left over, I might make some charity hats today too, because this machine is amazing. It is kind of magical. So I thought I'd maybe share with you how I do it if you're interested. If you're not interested, that's okay. You can skip ahead. All I need is some yarn, worsted weight. These machines can be kind of finicky, so you have to kind of play around with brands that work for you. This is a good one that I found works good, and it ends up being the right size for Bowie's head. You're gonna need a yarn bowl. This one was made by my friend Emily. And then you need a darning needle with the curved edge. This is important. I'm just gonna put my yarn bowl on the floor right below where I'm working. And then I'm going to find the center pull of this yarn. Got it. Don't want to mix it up with the other outside one. Wrap this one around, keep it out of the way. And then you just put this in the yarn bowl with that center pull facing up. Let's see here. Then we're just gonna thread the machine. When you thread these machines, there's 3 black hooks, and that's the beginning of your round. I have marked my first needle with a little yellow paint right here so I can always see it easily. And in person, they're numbered. It's just really tiny to see. So you start with the first black needle up. You leave an 8 to 10 inch tail down in the middle, and we're going to wrap these needles from the front of the hook and then behind the hook, front, back, all the way around very carefully. And this is how we cast on our first round. Okay, so I'm back to the black hook. Now I'm going to open my yarn guide, this little gold piece here, and put this through and close it. You always want to close it, because if you leave this open and you turn, you can break a hook or jam your machine. So it's very important to close that. And then this just hangs down. Got a little tangled here. And then I have a counter here that will help me keep track of how many rounds I'm going to do. And I do 120 rounds for a basic hat. This is pretty much the basic hat that every person who has one of the machines starts with. It's just a really nice double thick folded brim hat that's just kind of perfect. So now I can start cranking. I kind of go slowly on this first round to make sure every hook catches the yarn that it needs. So, and then I hold the yarn here with my left hand to keep some tension on it so it doesn't get all jumpy or skip some stitches. You don't want to have any runs in your fabric. So here we go. Time to bind off, and I just made it through my 120 rounds and it's looking good. You just want to look at your fabric and make sure it looks pretty even, that the tension looks pretty even throughout. And then a lot of people ask how much yarn is left over from a skein, and yeah, it takes about 1 skein to make a hat, just like hand knitting. This yarn is 197 yards, so almost 200 yards, and then I've got some left over, but definitely not enough to make another hat. So 1 skein per hat is probably the rule, unless you want to make a striped one and use your leftovers. I'm going to do a very long tail, maybe 20 inches, and binding off is really simple. So I'm just going to thread this tail on my bent tip darning needle. This tip makes it really easy to get the loops off of the hooks of this machine, so it is good to like go to the trouble to find one of these. I'm going to open my yarn guide and get this yarn out, close it again because I can't turn the hooks or turn the machine without closing this, or it could break or get bent. So I'm going to turn the crank about 5 stitches past this beginning section right here. This is hook number 1. I'm going to go a few over, it doesn't matter exactly what number, but I kind of do 5-ish. And I'm going to start with my first one here with the yellow dot and grab that yarn off the hook and pull it through. I'm kind of careful on these first few stitches. It gets a little easier as you go, but the first ones can be kind of tight. You don't want them to slip off. And it starts getting easier as you go. And you work from the inside out. Then you can kind of grab a few at a time because you've got more room to work. Thread them on. Lost my needle there. So this is off the machine, pretty much already ready to go. It just looks like a big tube and you kind of stretch it a little bit to kind of block it out a little. It gets a little stretched out width-wise when you first take it off. You just kind of pull on it and it's that perfect stockinette tube. So the end that's connected to my darning needle is my bind off end that I just made. And so this will cinch shut, and also this cast on edge will cinch shut the way we did this. So what I need to do now is tuck this bind off edge into itself inside to meet the top. There's kind of two tops of the hat, the inside and the outside top. Just kind of mess with it a little bit until they meet up here. Stretch it all out nicely. I know it looks weird now, but this is going to be a hat. I promise. All right, I've got my needle in here. So now I'm just going to pull this inner top shut. Just have to kind of curls in on itself, so you have to straighten it out a little bit as you go. Tighten it up really nice and tight. And then I usually go under a couple of stitches and make a little knot like that to really tighten that part up. And then we're gonna leave this tail. I'm gonna cut it 'cause it's a little bit long. Leave that tail hanging out, and then we're gonna do the same thing to the cast on edge. Cinch it tight. Remember to leave this out. it kind of rolls up again. You just have to kind of pull it as you go. It's almost too easy. So now that inner one meets the outer one, and obviously you just tie a really good double knot here with the two ends so that they stay together. I do it a few times. Then I'm gonna snip the ends. And since this is a double layered hat, you can tuck the ends inside of the layer so no one will ever see them. So I kind of thread both ends through my needle and go right in, and I kind of feel just that I'm going through one layer so that you won't see these ends on the inside anywhere. And then come back out, trim the ends. These should be pretty secure in there. And kind of stretch it out a little bit. You can see where I'm going with this. Tuck up that brim, and yeah, perfect, cozy little hat. This yarn, some yarns, okay, they all knit up differently on this machine. Some go a little tight and some go a little loose. This yarn is perfect for like my size head and my kids' heads. It's maybe a little tight for a man's hat, a men's hat, or if you have a bigger head, you might want to use a little bit of a chunkier yarn, but this one is perfect for like an average or smallish size head. So this one's for Bowie because he's been asking for a cozy gray hat. It's so cute, so simple. Maybe I'll make more of these. Maybe I'll make one for Lo too if she wants one. But yeah, the leftovers. So Michael's this week had buy 2 balls of yarn, get 1 free. And I can never say no to that. So the rest of these, I'm gonna make a few more and donate them to a hat drive locally because they're all looking for hats this time of year. This machine, if you do charity knitting, is gonna be your best friend, because whenever I have a little fundraiser or anything I need to donate to, this is the easiest way to make some really nice warm hats that are neutrals, you know, that anybody can wear, and they appreciate it so much, and it doesn't take very much time at all. So charity knitters, this Addi is for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little hat tutorial. I'm gonna make a couple more, I think. Next project of the day is making t-shirt yarn, black t-shirt yarn. This is made by me from old t-shirts, very smooth and very uniform and very nice. And this whole ball is one continuous piece, no joins. I have a way to use the t-shirt in a way that it makes one strand of yarn. It's very exciting. So I'm gathering up all of our t-shirts. Luckily, me and Bo have a lot of black t-shirts we're black t-shirt people. And so I've got some of mine and some of his, and we are going to turn just the ones we don't wear anymore into t-shirt yarn. It's very fun. Here's how I do it. So I'm working on a semi-secret project right now. And I need to make my own t-shirt yarn for this. And I happen to need black, and I have black t-shirts around here. We have Bo's and we have a lot of black t-shirts in this house. So luckily it's like an upcycling project too. But if you ever need to make t-shirt yarn out of a t-shirt, this is a really good way to make one continuous strip to get as much as you can out of one piece without having to attach anything. I am going to use the whole t-shirt. I'll use the upper part too, but for now, I'm just going to cut this lower section off, cutting straight across underarm to underarm. With my really sharp, good fabric scissors, by the way. It's good to use sharp scissors when you're doing this to make it easier. Very satisfying. Okay, and I'm using this later, but I just want to show you the continuous strip part. So then, there's a lot of fuzz. I'm going to cut the bottom hem off, and I'll repurpose that too. But for this right now, I'm going to fold it up so it's right lined up, and then cut along that seam. And this works best if your t-shirt doesn't have side seams. It'll still work if it does, but it works better if it's not seamed. This is a little stitching on the edge. I'm gonna go a little higher. Okay, my hem is off. More fuzz, sorry. Then, and there's a little notch. I'm gonna try to get those off. Smooth cuts. Clean that up a little bit. Then I'm going to fold this up. Then I'm just going to fold this up, but not all the way to the top. I'm going to leave about an inch down. And then I'm going to eyeball it. You can mark it if you want to be more precise, but I'm going to cut strips across this. I'm going to stop at this fold. I'm not going to cut all the way to the top. And I'd say these are a little over 1/2 inch wide, maybe 3/4 inch. But you can make them thicker if you want. Again, you're going through a lot of layers, so sharp scissors is helpful. So after that, it almost looks like a little skirt or something, fringe. I'm gonna turn it, and then we're gonna open it up a little bit to this piece here where we didn't cut, that kind of folded edge. I'm gonna try to straighten this out a little bit. When you're looking at this, it's almost like a spine and ribs. And the spine is where we didn't cut. And now we're going to make that continuous by cutting diagonals. So this I'm going to cut down to here. This I'm going to cut down to here, here to here, here to here. And it's going to make one piece. So you just carefully start like that. magic. Now we have this lovely pile of yarn spaghetti, and then it's kind of like ribbons. It's really neat right now. It just feels like little ribbons, but then you just tug and it quickly turns into what we think of as t-shirt yarn. And you gain some length with each pull. So I'm going to roll this up into a ball as I tug. And it works so nicely. It's a nice, even t-shirt yarn for being handmade. It's pretty good. Just kind of stretching it as I roll. But it's very strong. As long as you don't cut it in too thin of a strip, it has a lot of strength. And I'm not trying to use like the heavyweight t-shirts. That might be, they're just like a little too thick for what I'm doing here, what I'm going for with this project. But great way to upcycle even your kids' t-shirts. You can get quite a bit of yardage out of just one shirt. This pretty tight as I was stretching as I was winding, so it's a really solid little ball of yarn, but that's quite a bit from just the bottom half of a t-shirt. I think I used like an XL that we just had in our closets. We have shirts all the time that we're just not going to wear anymore. This is a great way to reuse them and repurpose them, even your kids' t-shirts, and it's kind of fun. I have a big project I need a whole bunch of these for, so I'm glad I can reuse and repurpose some things we already have in the house. One thing on my to-do list this week, or maybe today if I have time, I don't think I will with work stuff, is holiday cards. I love a holiday card. I know people don't do them as often anymore, and that's fine. It seems like we get less and less cards in the mail each year, and our list is pretty small anyway, that's okay. But I love a holiday card, and I'm gonna keep doing the holiday card, and I'm a graphic designer, so I just love putting a photo there with some text and just making our yearly holiday card. And years ago, I saw a great idea what to do with your holiday cards, from other people or just your own. And it's the most simple thing I've ever seen. And it's just one of those binder rings, just the ring by itself. Is that what it's called? The ring that opens and closes, it's like a little silver ring. and you just poke a hole with a hole punch in each year's card, stick the ring through it, and then you have just this nice little collection of cards from other people or just from your family. And I just thought that was such a cute idea. You could just stick it in a bookshelf or save it from year to year someplace. Anyway, I love a holiday card, and so that's my goal this week, is to get out our holiday cards. Here's our cards this year. I usually always get craft envelopes just because I like how they look. And yeah, our list is very small, so if we can't mail one to you, happy holidays from the Geigleys. Here's our card. I just used this year a picture from our trip to Disneyland in California. That was like our big summer trip this year, and we had so much fun. You can see it in the kids' faces. They just had a blast. And then after Disneyland, we went to Moab, and so I went to Arches National Park, and so that's the back of the card. And yeah, that's our little holiday card this year. I just have to get onto my Google spreadsheet. I still handwrite all the addresses because I don't remember how to get them printed on labels. But handwriting is fun anyway, and I don't have that many to do, so hopefully I can get them done soon. They need to go out like this week. Oh yeah, also favorite pen. I love Muji pens and their little pen cases, but this is my favorite one for writing on envelopes and cards. I'm a pen nerd, and these are great. Also felt tip Flair, Bic Flair pens, fantastic. But yeah, that's what I should be doing hopefully today, tonight, or maybe tomorrow. Get these in the mail. But wait, tell me what you did for Steve the Turtle today.
I gifted him the brown turtle food.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it after school?
Yeah.
Cool. So you got to feed him?
Yes.
Was it with who was it? With your teacher?
Mrs. Bonham.
Mm-hmm.
She came with me.
Well, that was nice.
And then she lets me jump on the trampoline.
Oh, wow. That's extra fun. You had a good day?
Yeah.
Anything else? What else did you do?
Learned about Spanish.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fantastic. What else? And where is Steve the Turtle? Where is he, in a different room?
He's in with Miss Stewart.
Ooh. And you get to visit?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because he's a sweet little turtle.
Aww. That is awesome. And you got to feed him.
Yeah. Is Steve a snapping turtle?
I don't know. What is he?
I don't know.
I thought he was a
leatherback.
Oh, I thought he was like a red-eared slider.
A red ear slider.
Is he? Is that right? Or what is he?
I think he's a red ear slider.
Cool.
What happens when you get Steve the turtle out of the tank?
I don't know.
He might chase us and snap us.
Oh. So we leave him in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he swims, he can stand up.
Okay. Do you love him?
Yeah.
Cool. Definitely staying cozy and winding down for the night. Happy Vlogmas, and thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.